I sat through a 3-hour interview yesterday. Roseanne Barr went on Alex Jones' show, and they had a festival of lunacy. I'm not going to say it wasn't entertaining to watch, because it was, but I definitely lost a bunch of brain cells. So Ron Filipkowski over on Twitter chopped up some more interesting parts for us, and then I got more on top of that. So buckle up, this is going to be a wild ride.
Where's our effing booze?
I got exactly what you want right here.
Because
you said on this Jewish holiday, people are supposed to drink, right?
Yeah, because why?
Well, I mean, if it's a religion, unless an alien force, Satan wants to hurt us because we're made in the image of God, he's jealous of us.
Bingo. But I wrote this book called Roseanne.
This was a theme throughout the interview. They talk about God and Satan is controlling things, but God is going to win, and we need to defeat the demons. And I had a hard time really trying to digest what they were saying, because I don't know if they're trying to be like metaphorical or literal. I certainly lean more towards there being literal side of things, but that's hard for me to wrap my mind around because it seems so immensely disconnected from reality. But I mean, you guys tell me your interpretation. It probably is that they're being literal about Satan and satanic forces running the world or whatever. But wow, the fact that people, they can go out there and state these things with such certitude is astonishing to me. I would be embarrassed to say something so confidently, but, you know, clearly I have absolutely nothing to back it up.
And you know, of course, nobody bought it, even though I went on Oprah and sucked her ass. They had only sold 5,000 copies.
Well, we'll sell 50,000 copies.
Well, I wrote that book to help deprogram kids from the Harry Potter bullshit. But anyway, because my grandson was into that. But anyways,
that was a big thing when the Harry Potter books came out, by the way. You had fundamentalist Christians felt very, very threatened by it because the books were super popular. So they felt like, almost like this is a competing religion that we need to steer people away from. So they went with, it's satanic. It's of the devil. I mean, it sounds like I made that up, right? That doesn't sound like it's real. No, it was real. I actually remember it.
At the end, I wrote this chapter called The End, wherein I kill Satan. And I tell you how to do it. Like people with these German accents telling us to take these shots, and they're you know, using the Jewish people basically over there in Israel as the lab rats to do it on, and they're lining up to do it. All they can do is just blow up stuff and cause earthquakes with their earthquake and heart attack machines.
So apparently she thinks the COVID vaccine is part of a new Holocaust. That's certainly what it sounds like to me. Or that it's going to kill people over the long run, and they know it, and they're experimenting on people in Israel. She says that because Israel has one of the higher vaccination rates in the world, and of course she's massively anti-vaccine. But now we got heart attack guns and earthquake guns, and I mean, her and Alex Jones are a match made in heaven because this is right up his alley.
And stuff like that, and they're just trying to kill everybody. Like, you know, Katrina, I think, was the first time they was just trying it out, you know, how they go and... Martial law, gun confiscation, all of it. Yeah, well, destroying a city and then going in after, you know, that's...
Keep going, Roseanne.
I know you're never screwing around.
I would just like to, so Hurricane Katrina was a case study in government incompetence. They're not good at what they do. And by the way, they didn't care. Kanye wasn't entirely wrong when he said George W. Bush doesn't care about black people. They really care about the impact. That's what that was. Does she think they also have a hurricane gun and they created the hurricane on purpose? I mean, look, the part about the shock doctrine is definitely true. This idea that governments take advantage of a crisis to push through an agenda that's unpopular that the people wouldn't want. That's like what you saw with after 9/11, you had the Patriot Act and NSA spying and torture, and they certainly clamped down and took more control and were more authoritarian. That's certainly real, but she made it seem like they made the hurricane on purpose. I don't know, man.
You're serious of fucking heart attack. I know that, but so am I.
Exactly. So keep going.
But we are for God. Isn't that weird? That I learned this in such a weird way, because I want to talk about how I was shown this, because I really want people to know this. The other is all about pyramids. Well, this pyramid that they constructed, the money people, I'm talking about the people who own the world, They forgot they brought the Nazis over. They took over our government, with look, everybody, this is what I want everybody to know. Every penny on.
To be fair, Operation Paperclip is real, and the U.S. government did allow Nazis into our government. That is accurate. That is accurate. Even a broken clock is right twice a day, and this is an example of the broken clock being right.
This earth is accounted for, and it all goes back to the Bank of International Settlements. Every penny on earth is accounted for in Bern, Switzerland. Well, if you look at them castles in Switzerland and where they came from, which was Babylon and Pharaoh, you see, this has never stopped. Switzerland, the Templars, and who became the Jesuits, to launder that money of all the wars they cause and start, and the BIS decides what wars are going to go and what they're going to fund.
All this control is an attempt for Satan to regain what he lost.
But I just want people to know, he has already been defeated and God has already won. It's just you have to pick your side now.
One of the things that keeps happening throughout this interview is they both go back and forth between like, we've already won, God's already won, Satan is defeated. They say that half the time, and then the other half the time they're like, it's unbelievable, we're losing, the satanic types are taking over, and they're sterilizing us and killing us with their poison shot, and they're making pedophiles rule over us. It's amazing how they seamlessly go back and forth without realizing the gigantic contradiction that both of those things can't be true at the same time. Is Satan winning or is God winning? And again, I think they mean it quite literally, that, they think Satan is real, they think God is real, and they think there's a cosmic battle, and we're all involved in it, and the Illuminati, and the New World Order, and the Bilderbergs, or as I call them, the Bilderbergers. Okay, so I got more for you. You thought that was actually the more mild and tame stuff.
Happening in the next few months when it tips totally towards us. What's the system going to do? What do we do once we know they killed us? They gave us poison shots. They attacked our children. They're child molesters. I mean, what do we do now?
Well, a lot of people.
Okay, by the way, this is exactly what I was just talking about. They're like, we're winning. God's already won. Satan is defeated. And now he's like, they're child molesters. They're poisoning us with What was that, dude? By the way, at no other point in this interview does Alex Jones come anywhere near tearing up, and now he randomly cries at this point? What is going on? There's some serious mental imbalance going on with this show, isn't there?
We're talking about retribution, but I'd say we ain't got no time for that. What we have...
She just goes on to babble and babble. All right, more.
I know, it's pedo law. That's what I defined it as a long time ago, when everything's run by pedophiles and they make the law. Check it out. It in the course of this country, if a woman accused her husband of being a pedophile, which a lot of them did for no reason, and put a lot of good men in jail, we all know that because it's all effed. It's all screwed. And
okay, you just said God was winning and Satan is losing, and now you're saying it's all effed, it's all screwed.
Don't have the right data. They're not even going by data. They're going by emotion. But
whereas Roseanne Barr, all about data.
A lot of judges, if it was true, and they saw that it was true, and they saw the data on the kid being abused, they called the woman crazy and gave custody to the abusive father. There's a lot of those stories on both sides. So that proves to me that it's people who don't care, and whatever money grease, the pedos have a lot of money.
How do I even respond to this? I love pedo law. Like, yeah, if you have a left-wing critique of the government, we might say it's an oligarchy or it's a corporatocracy. And she goes, it's pedo law, actually. I don't know how to react to that. What is the claim? Is the claim that everybody in the government is a pedophile? Is that the claim? Or is she going more for like a QAnon Pizzagate type thing here about, there are some pedophiles at the highest levels of government and Trump is going to, imprison them all? I don't know what she's going for, but I don't think she knows what she's going for. Okay, I got more.
A Trojan horse for globalism. Soros loves him. Period.
Well, no, it's true.
Oh, talking about DeSantis there. Here, I'll run it back just a touch.
Will there be nuclear war? What happens in Russia?
Well, they want that, I think. I think they want limited nuclear war, yeah, and they're all geared up for it, and that's why I'm praying that all that shit fails and that God will move his hand among us and that we, the people, will stimulate him.
A few political questions. Do you like Trump or DeSantis?
I don't like DeSantis at all. I think he's a Trojan horse for globalism. Soros loves him.
Okay. I have to point this out because I'm like autistic about this stuff. We covered that story. Soros did not say anything of the sort. He said like, I think if it's Trump against DeSantis, heads up, I think DeSantis can win, and then I think Trump would probably run third party and try to tank DeSantis, and that would, create a lot of chaos, and I would like that because he prefers whoever the Democrat is. That's what he says. He thinks DeSantis can beat Trump. He didn't say, I am endorsing DeSantis. And so I'm not surprised that Roseanne Barr would just go by like a headline on a shitty far right-wing blog and take it as fact.
Period.
Well, no, it's true. And like they're trying to pass anti-free speech bills in.
I love what he did with Disney in Florida, though.
So Alex is actually right there. They did pass a number of anti-free speech bills in Florida under the guise of wokeness really bad, bro. I'm going to crack down on wokeness. And then Roseanne Barr immediately jumps in with, no, I like those anti-free speech things he did. Namely talking about Disney among, whatever, the Stop Woke Act. There's a number of them, right?
He does some right things. He took away their special status where they can take, they was taken, well, I shouldn't say. I don't want to get in trouble.
No, they got their own little.
She says, I don't want to get in trouble. This is already after 3 hours and 19 minutes of sheer lunacy, where she said like 85 things that would quote unquote get her in trouble. This is amazing. I love this.
Country going. So, no, I mean, I agree. At least Trump's anti-World War III.
He's a peacemaker because he's intelligent, because anybody who's intelligent wants peace.
I literally cannot fathom anybody believing at this late date that Trump is pro-peace. Trump ripped up the Iran nuclear agreement, which was working, by the way, and assassinated their top general, General Soleimani, who was in the field literally fighting ISIS. Is that peace? His first drone strike as a president killed a young American girl. He increased drone strikes by over 400% his time in office. They tried to coup Venezuela. What are you talking about? Trump is pro-peace. He continued Iraq, by the way. He continued Afghanistan, despite all of his bluster about, we're going to get out of there. He didn't get out of there. It was Biden who got out of there. And by the way, when Biden did, all these idiots turned around and were like, oh my God, this is terrible. The sky is falling. Why are we doing this? This is what you wanted. This is the actual right thing to pull out. No more boots on the ground. Jesus Christ. Man, I think I have one more here. Although, I don't know. Is this the same clip? Let's see.
3 of my kids are real liberals, and they won't give me my password.
Wow, they were going to protect you.
They think so, but it's like, come on, y'all.
Well, they're not silencing you now. This is going to be a big interview. I hope listeners will take this.
My family sees that I went on Alex Jones, the liberals, because my family nothing but libtards. My brother's a professor at Berkeley, for Christ's sake. That's how liberal.
Well, while you're here, and we're going to get a late lunch.
They're going to shit theirself.
Give us a little bit of what your new comedy routine and talk to your family. Hit them hard.
I told you so. I told you so for 20 effing years, and I was right every time, and you know it. You know everything I say. I don't lie. I have a disorder. I have multiple personality disorder, so the only way I can deal with it is by absolute truth. I can't lie because I'll forget, I can't bullshit because I won't remember. All I can do is talk the truth. And sometimes I'm wrong. I'm not saying I'm wrong. But also because I have multiple personality disorder.
Well, that's their false definition, though.
I know. They're all full of shit. But I'm always right. And, they'll sometimes go, you called that one right. How about I called all of it right? But anyway, part of having MPD is you do have foresight. Like you were saying, you see things.
Well, in every culture, they always thought the lunatic was the shaman.
Well, you know what Judaism says. This is a good one. These days, which is called the age of Aquarius. In the age of Aquarius, only the voice of the insane and the drunkard can be trusted, and luckily I'm both.
Amazing. All right. Well,
okay. By the way, there's one point in the podcast that I love. There's actually a couple points that I love that you didn't see here. At one point, she goes, we need to seize the means of production, but not in the communist way. How else is there to seize the means of production? It seems like there's only one way to do that, and that would be communist, right? Like, what she's an amazing like amalgamation of far right beliefs and some far left beliefs. Like, for example, there's repeated times in the podcast she just goes after billionaires. She's like, literally nobody should have $1 billion. Based. Correct. Yeah, what are they even doing? The world's burning down and you're keeping all that money. What are you keeping all that money for? You don't need all that money. That's crazy. You should put that money towards like feeding kids and stuff. Based. But then she also goes on to say insane, super far right things, and it's hilarious because she's Jewish, but she also seems to like buy into a lot of the, the anti-Jewish conspiracy theories about like, moneyed interests and elites controlling the world is certainly not a conspiracy theory. It is totally accurate. But there's a far right version of that where you take out like, they say globalist, but what they really mean is Jews. Like that's what they mean. Okay. So she's a crazy mix of all these beliefs. But look, I didn't even go all that hard on her in this clip because it really is like, she does have some psychological issues. She does. And I like how Alex Jones' show has now become just an endless parade of various people having mental health breakdowns, whether it be Kanye West, whether it be himself. Now it's Roseanne Barr. And I'd be lying to you guys if I said it didn't make for very, very entertaining viewing. But listen, I actually have firsthand experience with this too. It wasn't too personal because I was too young to really know what was going on, but my grandmother on my dad's side had bipolar disorder, or as it was called at the time, manic depression. Same thing Kanye had. I never saw a bad episode again. I was too young when all that stuff was going on, and a lot of it happened before I was born. But I can tell you this, in her older years, she took her medicine, she committed to taking her medicine, and she was a lovely woman. She'd hang out all day, watch TV. She loved the show Cops, and she would sit there and sew. That's what she would do all day. Very sweet, very loving, very intelligent, but she needed that medicine. And Kanye West, he's really a case study in what can happen if you don't take that medicine when you have bipolar disorder. In the case of Roseanne Barr here, she says it's multiple personality disorder. I believe her, but apparently she doesn't believe herself because she just said also like, that's all BS. I don't think it is, Roseanne. I think you're showing a lot of the symptoms right here in front of the world. But look, she's saying a lot of things that are crazy, a lot of things that are out there, a lot of things that are ridiculous and just obviously untrue. But one of the things that you realize when you're dealing with somebody that has, mental health issues is that they can have this weird vibe to them of like truthiness and authenticity. Like they really believe every single thing they're saying, even though they're so out of whack, so out of bounds, and so factually incorrect. And it's a tough thing to deal with, Like, I don't know what percentage of this audience is going to watch this and walk away going, Roseanne is super based, bro. I don't know, but the thing that scares me is that, like, there is some percentage, probably a somewhat sizable percentage, that doesn't realize what they're witnessing, doesn't realize it's like a psychological breakdown, doesn't realize that these words are not truth. They don't realize that. And that's the scary thing to me. Not so much that the psychological illnesses exist, but more that some people will watch this and be like, oh, she's right about everything. What? What? Do you need to rewatch the clips I just showed you? Anyway, there you have it. Quite a 3-hour plus interview. If you want to see me and Crystal Ball interview legends like Noam Chomsky, Cornel West, and more, subscribe to Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack. $5 a month gets you the video version a day early. Remember, we take 0 ad dollars for this podcast. Or you can sign up on Substack for free and get the audio version a day later. Link in the video description box below.